The holidays are upon us, and if you have a maker in your life, you might realize that we kind of suck to buy things for. So I'm going to help you out. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back to the channel, and I know how this goes. As a maker myself, if I want something, I just make it. And that means that getting gifts for makers, like myself, is not the easiest thing around. But I promise, there are some really easy and pretty affordable gifts out there that are all about making awesome stuff. One of the easiest things, because everybody needs it, SSDs or hard drives. Look for Gen 3, Gen 4, or Gen 5 if they happen to be a crazy turbo nerd. Terabyte should run you somewhere in the $50 range. Easy to have, easy to use. And if they don't have any spare SSD slots on their motherboard, well, hey, external readers for them exist as well for about $20 to $30 extra. It's a great, easy gift for the geek in your life. You can fit quite a few Linux ISOs and STL files on this bad boy. But it was one of those that doesn't technically involve 3D printing, but it is always good to have extra storage. A terabyte is a great, easy one to get, and hey, for under 50 bucks, you can't beat it. Next up is the Sunlu Filament Connector. We've been messing around with this. Sunlu sent it over for us to take a look at. We're gonna have a full video on it in a couple of weeks to a month or two, where you can actually take leftover tails of filament and bond them together with this little device that basically runs on USB and be able to connect bits of filament together. This is really useful for those that have a bunch of random, barely anything left on the spool that can put it together, and at around $30 to $40, it's really affordable and something that the maker in your life probably didn't think that they needed, but as soon as they get it, they'll definitely enjoy it. You can also look at getting a 3D printing pen, and you might say, Grant, why the heck would I want a 3D printing pen? They're actually great for filling in gaps between prints, basically acting like a 3D printer TIG weld with your own hands. They're relatively cheap, like sub 20 bucks or so. So with the filament connector and a 3D printing pen, $50 or less, and you're absolutely in it. I do like this concept. It's not something that I've ever considered a tool that I would use in our shop until we started using it. I'm like, okay, I can see why this is interesting. The only bummer about it is it uses disposable PTFE tubes that you end up having to pull off of the filament or cut off the filament, and those don't really lend themselves to being reused, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is what it is in this day and age. It's certainly better than throwing away a bunch of little bits of filament that would normally end up in the trash. So great tool, really nice to have, and sub 50 bucks. That's an easy one, and it doesn't take up a lot of space on the shelf. Keeping on the filament track, dryers. This is one of the dryers from our farm. That's why you see the Bowden tube coming out of it. This is a Sunlu S2. They also make the S4, which holds 4 spools. You can get them from any brand. They're all pretty much the same. I would look for the ones that look like this or say that they have 360-degree heating. The S1 style, which we'll show on the screen here, not my favorite. The S2, I do quite like, and the S4, if you're willing to spend the extra money, is often worth it. The S2s you can generally find on sale for around the $40 price point, so again, under 50 bucks, great little gift for makers. But if you're willing to spend a little bit more money, the S4 for like 110 to 140 US dollars is a great option for those that have quite a few spools. Maybe they've got something like a Bamboo where they want to dry all their spools, or a Prusa XL where they have 5, even though that does 4, but close enough. But do make sure they have the room for it, because it's so big, I can't have it in the shot. It would have to be way back on the shelves behind me. If they already have dryers like this, they'd probably appreciate the S4. The other thing that you can look for are actually 3D printed accessories for these dryers, because often there's a big community around modifying them to make them work better. And if the maker in your life is using something like a food dehydrator or something that they jankily put together, or they're even using their printers to dry their filament, time to get a dryer. They're relatively cheap, and it's a great tool to have around. Last but not least, one of the big things that we push for in this industry is education, education, education. And these books from CAD class, the Fusion Fundamentals workbook. There's a student and instructor edition. This one's made more for the education sector, like colleges and high schools, but really, really good if you're just trying to start out learning Fusion for makers. That's a CAD package. But you can go through and get the mastering book here with hundreds of pages of full color examples and learning experiences to help you truly master Fusion 360. So whether they are just starting out or, you know, they really want to take it to the next level, learning Fusion is an awesome one. Another book that we would recommend is the 3D Printing Failures from Sean Aranda, otherwise known as the 3D Printing General. It's a great book to have for 3D printing failures. You can also use the Print Fix Friday series, which we'll card to if you want to take a look at that. But having physical copies of things to quickly go through and determine what went wrong, why, and how is crazy valuable when you're kind of in the midst of it, trying to figure everything out. We're going to be talking with Jake and Josh from CAD class about these books in an upcoming podcast. So if you do want to see that, make sure to leave a like and get subscribed because they put a lot of effort into these books. I've really been enjoying the Mastering Autodesk Fusion. It is something that I would like to get better at. And as someone who's not a classically trained engineer, but does engineering professionally, these books are absolute godsends when you have that one stupid problem that you don't know how to solve. So far, every one of those solutions has been in one of these books, and they're not expensive at all. Links to everything that we've talked about are in the description down below. So if you do want to pick things up for the maker in your life, you can do so. Of course, obviously, Filament is a great thing to do, and hey, we love ourselves some Jesse from Printed Solid. That is every color of Jesse's Elixir that I have. I have 10 different colors of Jesse's Elixir. That's a big D20 that we used to raise money for the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation, where we pied me in the face. Yes, that actually happened. We'll card to all of that so you can take a look. And for sub 50 bucks a kilo, literally, I think it's $25 a kilo for Elixir and $20 a kilo for regular PLA and PETG, free shipping over that $45 or $50 mark. That's a great option too. Every maker that has a 3D printer can always use more filament, but if they do have a particular brand that they buy from, it's always nice to utilize the same brand. But if they're open to trying new brands and they haven't tried Printed Solid, might I make this recommendation? And it is pretty awesome. We do give away Printed Solid filament on our live stream, so tune in during our live streams and enter for an opportunity to do so. But I do want to thank you all for watching this one. I know it's a little bit different, but that is all we have for you guys today. If you did enjoy this video, right below me will be the entire tour of Crucial Research. Go watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. And right next to that will be our coverage from the Sanjay Mortimer Rep Festival 2023. That was last year. And stay tuned because coverage from 2024 is coming out very, very soon. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. Hey, don't forget to leave a like and get subscribed. See ya.